Hi, I'm Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. Have I got an easy project for you, and it's really quick. It's called a microwave bowl cozy, and people also call them soup cozies. So let's take a look at them. Okay, like I said, these are really easy to make. There's fabric on the inside, and I chose to use a different fabric on the outside, okay? This is what they look like. Now, in between each layer of fabric is a couple of layers of cotton batting. Now, you have the option of making them with the pointed corners or the rounded corners. They're both easy. The rounded one just has one little extra step. It's not difficult at all. So all you do is you just put your bowls inside. Now, this one that we're making, this is a smaller bowl, and this square also holds a little bit larger bowl. So they're pretty versatile. You can make them pretty much almost any size you want. Okay, so let me show you how to put these together. The first thing you want to do is you're going to cut out 2 squares of 100% cotton batting and 2 squares of 100% cotton fabric. Your squares are cut 10 inches by 10 inches. So 2 of this, 2 of this, and remember, make sure you are using 100% cotton thread. If you use any synthetic fabrics when you're making this, it just might melt in your microwave. So let's start putting it all together. So take both of your squares, okay, the one for the inside and the outside, and on the back side you're going to put 1 square of cotton batting. And then on the front is where you're going to do your top stitching. But I'm going to turn it over because it's a little easier to see on the back side. So you're going to go down the center. You can either do a straight line, or if you have a wavy line like this and you want to use it, you can go ahead and do that. So you're going to do one down the center first, and then do 2 more on each side of that line. Then turn it and do the same thing, 1 down the center and then 1 on each side, 2 more, excuse me, on each side. Remember, you're doing this to both of your squares. Now take your squares and you're going to fold them in half. Line up your edges here, okay? And now with a ruler and a marking pin, you're going to take your ruler and you're going to place the 1-inch line and the 2-inch line down on that corner down here. So the 1-inch line goes on the folded edge, the 2-inch line goes on the raw edge, okay? And then on each side, you're going to mark it with a little dot, okay? And then you're going to go over to the other side and do the same thing and put dots here and there. Then at your sewing machine, you're going to stitch from one dot to the other, and you're creating darts, okay? These are 2 darts here. Then after you've done that, open it up, and now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So line up these corners up here, and then once you've got them lined up, take your ruler and do the same thing. Line up the 1-inch and the 2-inch, put dots there and there, go over to the other side, make sure your corners are lined up and mark it. Then go ahead and stitch from dot to dot, okay? Then take your ruler, place it, the 1-inch line, on your stitch line. So the just the 1/4-inch line on your stitch line. And you're going to trim the excess off. You're going to do that at all 4 dots on each square. So a total of 8 darts all together. So you've got all of that done. Then you're going to have something that looks like this, okay? Now I've got my fabric turned to where it's on the inside here, and the cotton batting is on the outside. But on this one, the fabric is on the outside and the cotton batting is on the inside. You're going to take them and bring the fabric's front sides together, okay? Now the first thing you want to do once you've done that is to line up your darts at the seams there and place a pin. So I will usually have one dart going in the opposite direction than the dart on top. So once you've done that, place a pin to hold it so that it won't shift while you're stitching, okay? Do that at all 4 of your dart seams. Then at this point, if you want your corners rounded, this is the place that you want to do it at before you continue. So place something round, whether it's a lid from a jar, or I've got these little circle templates. Place it into the corner and go ahead and draw around it. Then either with scissors or a rotary cutter, go ahead and trim right on that drawn line. So do that at all 4 corners, only if you want it rounded. Once you've got that done, then you want to go ahead and make sure you've pinned all of your corners, whether it's the rounded one or the pointed one. So go ahead and do that. And then the next step is you're going to be stitching around the upper edge. Now, before you start stitching, you want to make sure you leave an opening about 3 inches right in here on one of the sides. So stitch back and forth a few times on each side of that opening. So go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch all the way around, even if it's your curved corners. You want to make sure it's 1/4 inch. After you've done that, then take your scissors and you're going to do a little snipping and trimming here and there. So on each side of the dart seam, do a little clip on each side. And if you've got the pointed corners, make sure you clip some of the excess fabric off. If it's the rounded corners, you're going to do little snips, but make sure you don't cut through your threads. Okay, once you've got that done, then you're just going to reach inside between your 2 pretty pieces of fabric and slowly begin to turn this front side out, making sure you're not ripping your stitches out, okay? So it's going to take a little time to get it out. So here's one. So once you've done that, you want to close that opening. So fold your edges in side of your cozy and place a few pins to hold it there. You're probably going to need 2 or 3 because it's going to be really bulky. And then one thing that I like to do, it just helps me, is I'll put a few more pins around the other edges because it helps to keep that seam flat. So when you do the next step, it's going to be easier. So then you're going to stitch around that top edge about 1/8 inch. It's a really small seam along there. So top stitch around all of your edges and then you are done. Okay, so isn't this cute? Very, very pretty, and they're so easy to do. And if you don't like one side, you can turn it right side to the other side and you have a whole different look. Okay, so all you have to do then is go ahead and put your bowls in it and you carry them right to your table. There you go. Here's the other one. Okay, these are so much fun. They look very pretty and you can make them to match your dinnerware. Like I've said earlier, I have Fiesta dinnerware and this is Fiesta fabric with little donkeys or burros, whatever you call them, and a bunch of chili peppers all over it. It goes great with my dinnerware. So now I hope you try this project. It's really fun, really easy. It's a Saturday afternoon project or Sunday afternoon project, or maybe if you got a little time after work, project. You can make quite a few of these really fast. Now, if you want to keep informed on all my future videos, you got to click on that subscribe button. There's one down there in the lower right hand corner, red, it says subscribe. Then in the upper left hand corner is a round picture of my face. That's also a subscribe button. So click on either one of those. YouTube's going to then prompt you for your email address. So make sure you enter that. And the next time I have a new video, YouTube will send you a very brief email with a big button in the center. You click on it and it takes you directly to my latest video. Now, I'm Cheryl, and I'm so glad you came to my sewing room. And just remember, happy sewing.